Can you bring medical marijuana on a plane? That's a question I get asked way too often as a cannabis lawyer, so I figured we'd answer it right now on another triumphant episode of... Hey, I'm Tom, cannabis industry lawyer, here to tell you that, yeah, weed on a plane, like any other answer that I give for purely entertainment purposes, and in no way, shape, or form am I giving legal advice. That advice being, whatever, man. Not only does whatever, man sound ambiguous enough to not even really be advice, it does also not even really answer the question. So let me help you appreciate the issues, and then, whatever, man, you do you. This is only entertainment. If you do bring weed on a plane, you're probably going to do it anyway. People have been breaking the law about weed for decades. It hasn't stopped. I don't think they are going to stop breaking the law now, simply because it still might be more legal than it's ever been. So what do you do when you sneak past them cannabis amnesty boxes like you see at O'Hare Airport, and that you can dump your weed into, and that airport staff actually controls those boxes? You can see these green boxes at major airports. There's one. So again, like oopsies, if you forgot that there was, those amnesty boxes, and oops, you had weed in your bag because you were in a legal state, the common legal answer to can you bring it on a plane is, it depends. Yeah, I know, right? Like nothing like paying $400 an hour to a guy to tell you maybe, right? But that's kind of where you're at. There's a lot of maybes out there. The dogs at the airports for the TSA, they are not looking for cannabis. They are looking for things that are actually dangerous to an airplane. So like, knowing that the brakes on your car work is a moral hazard, the same can be said about knowing that those dogs are sniffing for bombs for the TSA and not for other stuff. You see, the TSA has actually said this on their website. The TSA screening procedures are focused on security and are designed to detect potential threats to aviation and passengers. Accordingly, TSA security officers do not search for marijuana or other illegal drugs, but if any illegal substance is discovered during security screening, TSA will refer the matter to a law enforcement officer. So there you have it. Now, if you have your medical card and they refer it to a law enforcement officer in that state, if you do have a medical card, then before you go into interstate commerce, the police in your state have no claim. Therefore, there is no federal money to enforce their prohibition at the federal level against your lawfully compliant medical cannabis treatment. Of course, it's going to be Iowa's problem when you land. So next, where are you going? Does the state have a medical cannabis program that has reciprocity? Some states, they have reciprocity. Maybe Oklahoma, not Florida. Maybe one day Illinois. Medical cannabis laws, they change every year, and the reciprocity rule hopefully takes shape, but we will see. Moving on. Many states, even without legalizing it, have decriminalized to a certain extent. Some states have decriminalized 10 grams or up to an ounce, or they have completely legalized an ounce or more, as states like Colorado have recently raised their possession limits. So what if you're on a plane from like an Iowa over to a Colorado? And if you are within the lawful age and possession limits, then the states or the feds are really not going to be able to bother you because there's no claim that they really have. Now, what if you're moving kilos and pounds? No, of course not. Not even a state law compliant license holder are allowed to travel in interstate commerce for commercial purposes. All commerce in cannabis is illegal under federal law. All interstate commerce in cannabis would qualify for that. But it's completely in-state. Let's say we're flying some of our product from our farm in Kankakee, Illinois, down to Carbondale, Illinois. I don't know. That's where things really start to remind me about how the plants get into a new grow that was completely illegal until the regulatory commission said, okay, here's your certificate of operations, get growing. And then a stork just magically shows up and brings all these plants. Same thing. So if you're flying with the cannabis, what types of regulations do you have to comply with? Federal? What do you mean? The Federal Aviation Administration. What do you think the FAA is? Federal's in the name. So now that you know that dogs at the airport are not looking for flowers that are not a threat to safety of the plane, and that the TSA agents have actually put up on their webpage that says it's okay, kinda, to fly with medical marijuana, and it might make you a little bit forgetful, like, oops, how did that get in there? Why would that matter if you didn't know it was in there? Well, maybe mens rea. The criminal mind being knowledge of the wrongful act. Not that I think any possession of cannabis is wrongful, but that doesn't really matter at law. Visit us at cannabisindustrylawyer.com for more help on your cannabis business license. You were just a medical patient and did nothing wrong, right? Good night, everybody, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel to make legalization get here quicker.